Hello, 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 hello. All honesty, I almost did not want to come on. There is so much happening on social media right now with the whole Will and Jaden. Although this live is not about them, their story just really came out um, at a unique time of me talking about building and rebuilding trust after infidelity. If you can hear me, let me know. Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming on. Hey, Patrice from Vegas. What's up, girl? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? So I was just laying in the bed, right? And I was looking out the comments, and everybody now is posting about Will and Jada and what happened, and going back in history and time about this, that, and the next. But what I am going to say is that regardless of what, infidelity hurts. Regardless of what, anytime you betray somebody that has trusted you with their heart and with their life and with their future, that hurts like hell. That hurts like hell. And nobody can, this live is not to judge them or size them up or try to, share their story. What I am going to share is what I was already going to share and talking about how to build that trust. Because even if the affair is done, there's still levels of trust that you have to build and you have to regain. Absolutely. When I looked at the video of Patrice, I almost cried. I don't think I'm an easy crier, but I am an emotional person. I think the younger I get, I do cry more. I'm easier to cry more. Nonetheless, but I saw that. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get back together. It takes a lot to try to rebuild and try to reestablish something. It takes a lot to renovate that marriage, if you would. But here's what I want to share with you guys. I have 5 things that I want to share with you guys on tonight. And what my replay viewers, thank you so much for chiming in. I just put my hat on, you guys. I just didn't really, it's Friday. I didn't feel like, what are my little locks to show though? I didn't feel like doing too much today. They're growing. But what I want to say is boundaries. You must establish boundaries in your marriage relationship. And when I talk about boundaries, I'm talking about boundaries as it relates to friendships that you have individually and collectively, boundaries around how much time you're spending with those friends, with those people, boundaries regarding what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, boundaries when it comes to the accountability that you and your spouse have toward one another and toward the marriage relationship. A marriage relationship needs boundaries because anything can happen. And I shared last week or the week before, I can't remember, that people don't cheat because they're unhappy all the time. That's not why they always cheat. Yes, that was Will's story. She was unhappy. She was looking for fulfillment. She was looking to feel good and all of those things. That's a prime example of brokenness. And I'll talk a little bit about that in just a few minutes here. But people don't cheat because they're unhappy all the time. Sometimes people cheat because the opportunity presents itself. Sometimes people cheat because they're bored and they just want something else to do. And sometimes they do cheat because, yes, they are unhappy, they are unfulfilled, and they think that cheating or getting with someone else or doing something different, finding another partner or multiple partners or going behind their spouse's back is going to solve the issue. But that does not solve the issue, because ultimately we are responsible for our own happiness. And the moment you put that weight and that strain on someone else, you give up your power. You give up your power and you give up your right and the opportunity to do what it takes to make you happy. As individuals, we have to find out what makes us happy, what makes us sad, What do we need to do to feel fulfilled? Many times we have to take our spouse out of the equation, because many times it has nothing to do with him, but it has all to do with us. What do you need to be happy? Not what do you need for your marriage to be happy. What do you need to be happy? Because here is what I know. When you bring individual happiness, and when you bring individual wholeness to that marriage relationship as an individual, you see that into that marriage relationship. You know, many people look at me and my husband, we don't have a perfect marriage, but we have learned that we are not responsible for each other's happiness and well-being when it relates to the wholeness piece. I am whole, he is whole, he's happy, I am happy. Now he contributes to what I already have, but he is not responsible for making me happy. We are responsible for doing those things ourselves. And the moment I put that responsibility on him, or I put that charge on him, that I take away my power and my opportunity to do what it takes to make me happy. I have to soul search. If I get to the point where I'm so unhappy and I'm so unfulfilled and I don't want to be in my marriage anymore, and I feel like if I go outside of the marriage, that's going to make me feel whole or complete, I need to go inward. I need to look inside myself to figure out what's going on in here, because that's a heart issue. That's a heart issue. After I've given my life to someone and I made a vow to God and I made a vow to people that I would be with this person until the end of time, and that I would love and honor and respect this person, and he did as well. And then I go out and cheat, right? Because I'm unhappy and unfulfilled, that's a whole nother issue. So when we're talking about infidelity and we're talking about betrayal, we have to get to the root of the problem. Many times we're looking at surface things and we're not getting to the root of the problem. I don't fear that my husband will ever cheat on me. I'm not saying what anybody would or would not do, but what I am telling you tonight is that that's not a fear I have. And I believe I can speak the same for him. That's not a fear that he has, because beyond our love for one another, and we love each other, that is true. Beyond that, we have made a commitment not only to God, but we have made a commitment to ourselves. And it takes a real grown-up person to be able to do that and be able to follow through with that commitment. So the first thing I want to share with you, beyond establishing boundaries, because that's just the totality of the conversation on tonight, establishing those boundaries. Number one is you have to be honest with yourself. What do you need? What? Oh, excuse me. I swallowed. When you ask this question to so many people, hold on, guys, let me get some water. When you ask this question, what do you need? What is your answer? What do you need to be happy? What do you need to be fulfilled? What do you need to experience in your life to experience the measure of happiness that you need? What do you need? You have to be able to answer that question. And for a lot of people, they're not able to answer the question, what I need. Don't tell me I need my husband to do this, I need my husband to do that. No, what do you need? What level of fulfillment do you need to feel whole and complete? What do you need to do to experience that? So that's number one. Number two, be honest with your spouse. So when you're feeling unloved, when you're feeling unfulfilled, see, these things have to happen simultaneous, right? So you're being truthful and being honest with your spouse and telling him that I am unhappy, but you're also doing some self-reflection to see, why am I unhappy? And most times, the unhappiness is not necessarily anything that he has done or that he isn't doing. It's something that you are experiencing. It's something that you have suppressed. It's something that you haven't dealt with. And now you have placed the charge and the responsibility on your spouse to make you happy and fulfilled. And he is not, in many cases, able to do that. Number three, Be open to understanding your brokenness. We heard Jada, for those that watched it, we heard her talk about, I was unhappy, I was unfulfilled, I wanted to feel something. Brokenness. So anytime you're brokenness, and I saw somebody say that she's always unhappy. I don't know how true that is, and I guess I should not have repeated that. If that is the case, and you're always sad, you're always unhappy, that probably has little to do with your husband, just to be honest. And there are some other things that you need to begin to search out, to figure out why. Why am I always unhappy? Why am I always unfulfilled? It doesn't matter what I have. It doesn't matter how much money I have. It doesn't matter the house I live in. It doesn't matter the opportunities I have, my career, my education. Nothing seems to fulfill me. Nothing seems to make me happy. Then you need to go and do some soul searching. We see all the time where couples experience infidelity and they experience betrayal and cheating and abuse and all of these things. We see celebrity couples that experience this all the time. And when you look at their lives, they seem to have it all. They seem to have it all. I mean, look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. They seem to have it all, yet they're still stepping out on the people that they say that they love. And Jay-Z even said that he was broken. He had a lot of things that he needed to work out. So this is public information, you guys. He said that he had to go to a therapist, that he needed to work on himself, that he needed to figure out where the missing piece of the puzzle was, his broken relationship with his father, and so many other things. But most people, the average person, would not be able to connect that with their past. The average person cannot connect that. It takes a level of skill, it takes a level of maturity, it takes a level of experience, and just knowing that connection. My desire to always cheat or to step out or to always feel unfulfilled or to feel rejected or feel abandoned, that connects to something deeper. And many times it does connect to the childhood. It connects to something that happened long ago that has been unresolved. Yes, you've moved on physically. Yes, you've gone and created an amazing life for yourself. Yes, you have everything that a girl or guy can ever imagine. However, when you don't deal with those soulish issues, when you don't deal with your soul, your mind, your emotions, and your will, when you don't deal with that level of hurt and that level of pain that once had you in bondage and has tried to victimize you, I'm going to tell you that will show up. I don't care how much you say you love that person. It's going to show up. I had someone tell me that they love me and that they couldn't live without me, yet he could not stop cheating on me. So the two can't go hand in hand. You can't be devoted to me and love me with everything inside of you and still feel okay to go out. That right there tells you that something is wrong, something deeper. Number 4, you have to be intentional. So these are 5 B's, by the way. Be intentional. So first is be honest with yourself. What do you need? What do you want? The second one is be honest with your spouse and sharing with him. That's where that communication comes in. Honey, I am unhappy. I'm not saying it's you, but I feel unhappy. I feel unease. I feel unfulfilled. I feel dissatisfied in this marriage relationship. And I need to figure out why, right? 3 is be open to understand your brokenness. What wounds do you need to work on? The wounds that you brought into the marriage. Did you forget about that? The wounds that you thought that when you got married that they would automatically disappear, that they would just be in the shadows somewhere. Remember those wounds? Those things? Yeah, you got to deal with those things. Number 4, be intentional about your healing journey. What will that look like for you? What do you need to finally heal through it? It's not another man. It's not another woman. It's not another relationship. In fact, the only relationship, let me pause for the cause. The only relationship would be the one with yourself and the one with your creator, God the Father. That would be the only relationship if you're seeking a relationship at this moment, but you have to be intentional about your healing journey. Ask yourself, what do I need to heal? What gaps do I need to close? What bandages do I need to repair? What wounds do I need to clean out, right? Even with the wound, you have to clean that wound out every now and again in order for it to properly heal. Are you properly healing? Did you take time out to properly heal, or did you just jump into a marriage unhealed, not whole, but thinking that once you got into this marriage relationship that things will turn around, things will be great because he showed himself to be a provider. He showed himself to be a protector. He showed that he loved you and that he cared about you. But what you did not realize that even though all of those things may be true, you still needed to work on you. And this can be true for your husband. Maybe you're not the person that's claiming unhappiness and that you're not whole. Maybe it's your husband. And maybe he thought by getting into this marriage that somehow would have solidified all of the feelings and all of the things that he went through, but he was in for a rude awakening and now finding out that he's in a lonely place and even experiencing levels of loneliness because you were not the answer to his problems and he was not the answer to your problems. In a marriage, we don't marry one another because they are the answer to problems that we have. We marry in order to establish something magnificent where we can grow and mature and we can cultivate with one another so that we can share that experience with the rest of the world. We can share that experience with our children. We can share that experience with our communities or with our churches. Marriage is supposed to stimulate the economy, but when you have a sad marriage, when you have a broken marriage, when you have a marriage that is not healed and that is not whole, that marriage is not in a position to stimulate the economy. Marriage is the greatest demonstration of Christ's love toward his church. But when a marriage is broken and not whole, it cannot be that demonstration. You know, your marriage going through does not have to be truth. It doesn't have to be your truth. That does not have to be your story. I'm tired of people telling others that they have to go through all of these pitfalls and all of these rough edges and rough rides in order to experience true happiness and fulfillment. No, 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 no. That is not true. People are experiencing these things because of brokenness. People are experiencing these things because of hidden or deeply buried wounds and issues that they have not gotten over, they have not healed from, and many times they've suppressed it and they pushed them under the rug, and they don't want to confront them because they don't know how it's going to make them feel. Many times people are experiencing this because they can't communicate their true feelings to their spouse about how they feel, why they're feeling, and what they're feeling. People are experiencing all of this unhappiness and this burdensome of a relationship because they got married too quick, too fast, too premature. So there are a number of reasons why people are experiencing the level of unhappiness and the level of unhappiness and just distraught in their marriages. And it's not because they have to go through these pitfalls. That is not true, you guys, by any stretch of the imagination. That is why I tell the wives, before you get married, work on you. I know for many of you, you are already married. So guess what? Now is the time to work on you. I was talking with one of my clients the other day, and she was just sharing with me some of the things that she was going through in her marriage. And I said, boo boo, you got to work on you. It starts with you. The healing journey starts with you. The healing journey starts with your husband. It starts with you guys individually, taking a hard look at what's on the inside. And then the last thing, number 5, is be committed to working through the wounds together in the relationship. That takes some raw conversation. That takes a lot of communication. That takes you being able to actively listen to one another without becoming offended and without being defensive. That takes a lot of maturity. And if you want your marriage to heal, if you want your marriage to overcome the infidelity or the betrayal that you've experienced, you must work together. At some point, you must come together. You can do the work, you can initiate the process on your own, but at some point, you must come together in order to experience true healing and true wholeness. And this is the thing. Even when you come together and you decide to walk that journey together, it can take years before your marriage is made whole. You hear me? It can take years before your marriage is made whole. That pain is serious. That pain is a form of death. Just like divorce is a form of death, infidelity is a form of death. Somebody ripped something out of you, ripped your heart, ripped your emotions. Someone took something from you, someone you trusted, someone you loved, someone you are loved, someone you gave your life to, took something from you. So that can take years. Are you committed to rebuilding for years? Are you committed to putting in the time, to putting in the work, and investing in your marriage? And sometimes that is monetary investment with coaching or some level of professional counseling. Are you willing to put in the work? Because if you're not, you might as well just walk away right now, because it's going to take a lot of work to restore that marriage relationship. It's going to take a lot of work. So I'm going to run through these really quickly, and I'll open the floor for questions. Boundaries. That's what we're talking about. Establishing those boundaries, right? So 5 B's. Be honest with yourself. What do you need and what do you want? The second B, be honest with your spouse. What do you need from him? And just being honest and saying, hey, I'm not happy. I don't feel happy. I don't feel like you love me. And here is why. Give examples. Be able to give examples. I don't feel like you love me because what? I don't feel like I'm happy in this marriage because what? Don't just lay that out there and not give him any level of explanation or anything to work with. He has to know why. And if you can't explain it, that either further solidifies that the issue is internal. Number 3, be open to understanding your brokenness, and not just understanding your brokenness, but beginning to work on your brokenness. And how you understand your brokenness is going back. Sometimes you have to go back in order to move forward. What broke me? What is it? Is it a relationship with my father? Is it, or the lack thereof? Is it a relationship with my mother, or the lack thereof? What is it? Because it's something. It's something. Did I not get enough love? Did I not get enough validation when I was a young girl? What is it? What happened? What happened? Where down the line did you lack the confidence of being who you are? Where down the line did you lack the validation of who God has called you to be? Where down the line did it happen? Because it happened somewhere down the line, and you have to find out where. Because no human being, no other human will be able to give you what you need. Number 4, be intentional about your healing journey. What will that look like? What does that look like for you? And then number 5, be committed to working through the wounds in your relationship, and understand that it will take time. And you cannot put a time limit on that. It's unfair for you to do so. It's unfair for your spouse to do so. It will take time, but you have to be diligently and consistently working on those areas. So I'm going to open the floor for questions. We have about 3 minutes. 3 minutes left. Open the floor for questions. And yeah, I pray that this has helped at least one person. I pray that one person will be able to take what I taught on tonight, and they'll be able to do their own individual soul searching. I pray that it is a tool that you can use if you've experienced infidelity, or if you're currently experiencing infidelity. However, you're working through that and your spouse has agreed to release the relationship, but you guys are just at the beginning stages of that. I pray that something I said tonight will be able to help you on that journey. That is my prayer. One of my specialties, one thing that I pride in, is helping women to improve communication and maximize intimacy in their marriage, so they can partner with their husbands in building a God-centered marriage. Marriage does not have to be hard. It does not have to be, it doesn't have to take you on a whirlwind of emotions, right? It doesn't have to be that way. I know people keep saying that marriage is hard, but my opinion is that it's not. The decisions, yes, that we have to make are hard. But marriage in itself was never created to be hard. But the individuals that are in it make it hard because we have hard heads. We want to do what we want to do. We're selfish individuals. We're full of pride and arrogance. So a lot of that falls on us. So until we take responsibility and growing and maturing, yeah, it's going to be hard. Yep, it is. So listen, you guys, I've enjoyed this time with you all tonight. And again, if you have any questions, definitely share. If there are any topics you want me to share on or talk on, even in this realm, because for the month of July, we will be continuing the conversation. The last Friday of July, I do have a special guest that will be coming on. So the 31st, make sure you guys are here. I have a special guest that's going to be coming on with me, and she's going to share her story of infidelity and how her and her husband was able to overcome and now living an amazing, happy, fulfilled life and marriage. So please make sure you're here for that. And yeah, I'm excited about this journey. Excited about this journey because I want to just provide the tools and resources for you to be able to overcome infidelity or any level of betrayal in your marriage. And I know that the root of that is communication. That's the root. All right, you guys, I pray you have a beautiful and blessed weekend. And I will see you Monday at 5:30 a.m. for Mind Your Marriage Monday. All right, be blessed. Good night.